How comfortable are you talking about sex? This is now second part of our recollection examining that part of ourselves that describes you as a man or a woman. This is your Kuya Mel. Welcome to St. Hosea Hermitage. During the first part of this series, we dwell on exploring our experience of first awareness of our sexuality. That was your assignment, to write down in your journal so that you become aware how it evolved since childhood. How do you portray yourself? What mask you wear? Ano yung mask na sinusuot mo? How you project yourself to others? Komportable ka ba? As a child ako kasi talagang lalaki talagang tingin ko sa sarili ko. Pero ewan ko ba kung bakit iba ang tingin nila. Ako talagang nalilito kung tinatawag nila akong bakla. Just people see in me that effeminate. I do not know why. Pero at 9 naman, nagkakagusto ko sa mga babae. In fact, in my sexual awakening as early as 10, I have wanted to experience sex. Kaya nga noon gusto kong mag-asawa. Kaya lang, gusto kong mag-asawa because I just wanted to experience that sex. I got a rose seeing a naked women Ewan ko ba kung bakit nagbago. But remember last time, I told you about my experience of being beaten with a belt by my mother because she saw me drawing a naked woman? Walang porn para-paraan. Ayun, nahuli tuloy, nasinturon tuloy ako. My mom told me not to fantasize women kasi daw, dapat nirerespeto ang mga babae. Ayun tuloy. Ngayon, kung gawin ko uli, natatakot ako na baka magulpi na naman ako. But I try to project a very strong masculine image, a persona, the mask that is so masculine. That's why, what I did, I went to the gym. Nagpakalaki ako ng katawan, slim but muscular, may six-pack abs pa ako. I try to be conscious, the way I stand, walk, sit, or talk. Kaso, pag nalingat, lumalabas yung natural. Hindi naman sa gusto kong maging babae, hindi nga Kaso lang kung bakit effeminate yung nakikita sa akin, yun yung lumalabas sa akin. And I hated it. Kasi nga, dahil gusto ko, nakakonform sa sinasabi ng lipunan. And for society, the best image that they want to look at me was that of the standard masculine macho. That was what society approved of Yet the shadow in me is different. The shadow is my aversion to anything feminine. Carl Jung described this inner struggle as the soul within, which he refers to as the anima or the feminine. If you are male, or animus, or the masculine if you are female. So both words, anima and animus, are Latin, which means spirit, soul, or breath. So it is actually the soul within you. And to Carl Jung, this soul is usually the opposite of the external. Soul ay yung nasa loob, yung nadarama, at external yung ikaw, your mind. Kung lalaki ka, your spirit is feminine. Kung babae, yung loob mo ay lalaki. Neuroscience finds truth to this fact, making Jung's assertion that we have both the feminine and masculine within. In spite of the hormonal differences between male and female, men are said to have more testosterones, female have more estrogens. Science asserted that both sexes have both hormones. Hormonal differences between male and female somewhat ascribe to each certain characteristics prevalent in male or female. Greater amount of testosterone in men is attributed to their more muscular and rigid features, making men bigger and stronger physically than women. More estrogens makes women more soft, flexible, and gentle. These are characteristics necessary for women in their role for procreation. Their body has to be flexible to carry and nurture a child. And since both testosterone and estrogen are present in men and women, so both rigidity and flexibility are found in each. Ang problema kasi kapag prescriptive na ang tingin ng lipunan, which was the case during Jung's time. And so, Jung came up with the concept of anima and animus because during those times, misogyny marks early 20th century Europe. Men at the time had strong prejudice against women. But as women get better educated, they started to be awakened and take active roles in social, political, and economic sphere of society. As I said a while ago, to Jung, in every male there is a feminine spirit in his psyche, the anima. For every female, there is the masculine within, the animus. And both words came from the Latin, which means soul. Now let's trace how this anima or feminine in men developed. Marie-Louise von Franz, a student of Jung, suggested that the development of the anima or the animus takes place in two stages. The primal stage, the primal primitive stage, this started in childhood. So in every male, there is the anima. And the first level of development, von Franz called it the primitive stage, symbolized by Eve of the creation story in the Bible, with whom was the male's first attachment and connection, with whom is his first intimacy. Hindi ba sa mother, sa ina? So the mother was the source of satisfying, gratifying his needs and cravings. Deep within created a bond, and deep within the child, the boy's feminine energy developed. That soul within was unconsciously patterned after the image of the mother, and so as the male child grows, he gets attracted towards those that satisfy his cravings. Later on, these cravings turn sexual and seek satisfaction among girls, seeing them as objects to satisfy their needs. For women, the primal stage, the primitive, is embodied by the warrior. Of course, just like men, women's first intimacy was with their mother, but instead they identified themselves with the mother, and the affection and idealization was directed towards the father. In some society, most fathers were not as nurturing as those in the East, like the Philippines, so fathers were perceived at a distance. Yet, being the breadwinner, especially in patriarchal society, they have the command and authority at home. Carl Jung describes the four stages of animus development in a woman, paralleling those of the anima in man. And so, the primal stage for female is the animus warrior. The girl idealizes her dad for his strength and power. In today's modern society, daddies are becoming more nurturing, lalo na sa mga Filipino families. That's why many girls are becoming like Papa's girl, more closer to their fathers, and sometimes jealous of their mothers. She gets attracted to a man that could give her physical satisfaction and protection, and their idea of boyfriend is patterned after their dad. Just like the anima in a man, the animus in a woman is her own potentiality but could be projected towards the opposite sex in a quest of finding a suitable partner in the future. The craving of the anima in a man for sensual satisfaction is an indication of that attractiveness and desirability in a man. Deprived or repressed of this need could result to diminished sense of confidence, expressed in being moody or aloof. I remember this when my mom repressed my desires for women, that for many years I doubted my own sexual attractiveness. Women on this primal stage, while exhibiting attraction towards those who are strong, are also strong within. But the animus could possess her when early in life suffered abuses from her own father or male caregiver, either suffering from low self-esteem or when triggered becomes emotionally unstable and rage like a roaring warrior. When triggered, this repressed animus will come to life and possess her. Yan yung mga babae nagiging nagger o takaw-away at di niya namamalayan kasi possess na nga siya dahil sa trauma. Kaya mahalagang malampasan ang stage na ito. To integrate, accept, embrace, and enrich the primal anima or animus. To Jung, the next stage follows the path of projection, possession, and integration. However, some of his students like Marie-Louise van France goes further and describe the next stage of the primal anima of a man to be the romantic anima. In a way, this is a projection of what is within the psyche of a man. In this romantic anima, this man idealizes femininity in its aesthetic beauty. He falls to girls that possess quality of beauty and grace. But actually, this is a projection of his own beauty and grace, getting attracted with those possessing the same. On the other hand, women are less visual in liking men, though early in the primal stage, she looks for strength and power in a man which initially perceived by the way he looks, muscular and strong. Yung second stage is projection of this animus. The animus possesses initiatives and the capacity for planned action. He is behind a woman's desire for independence and a career of her own. And this is the exploring animus. The woman projects onto her partner qualities of audacity, curiosity, and nonconformity. Kung tutuusin, curious lang siya at gusto niya i-expand ang kanyang matututuhan sa buhay. Pero traditional pa ang concept niya ng isang lalaki. Dapat siya ay isang haligi ng tahanan. At minsan, para bang hindi na siya makakawala doon sa idea of this kind of partner. And now, here is a perpetual quest for the ideal. Kaya minsan, pili ng pili, hanggang sa walang mapili, di ba? Very choosy. The third stage to yung was possession. Here, the anima or animus is possessing the ego. Getting possessed, the anima or the animus becomes autonomous if not fully integrated. At sa tingin ko, this also applies to any level from primal to the third stage, which to von Franz she described the anima of a man as the spiritual anima represented by the Virgin Mary. At this level, femininity is revered for its virtues, purity, and goodness, but the idea of virtues in femininity is dogmatic and rigid. It does not allow variation and complexity beyond this rigidity. Its counterpart in the animus in a woman is the spiritual animus. She reveres wisdom, integrity, and connection to the divine. This animus is represented by the priest or sage. However, just like the spiritual anima, it can lead to moral rigidity and even disinterested in sex. Finally, the fourth and last stage is the creator animus for women or Sophia anima for men. This is the incarnation of spiritual meaning. This is the highest level where the anima or the animus mediates between conscious mind and the unconscious. Sexuality here is transformed with spiritual significance. To sum it all, it is your conscious mind seeing yourself as male, and behind this masculinity is your femininity, which Jung calls the anima. If your consciousness tells you you are a female, behind it is your animus, the masculinity in you. There is no one who is entirely masculine or entirely feminine. Each of us is both masculine and feminine. And so for your assignment, examine your past and see how you experience the animus or the anima in you. To help you recalling your past and see the animus or the anima in you, book your appointment with me. It's much better that I'll be able to guide you along the process, of looking into your animo or your anima.